What up, world? It's Fess back in the studio with Reverb. Today we're going to talk about two brand new standalone drum machines dropping from Roland. One is sort of a brand new take on a classic, and another is just a brand new drum machine in the Era series. I'm talking about the TR-06, which is a boutique version of the TR-606 that was originally released in 1981 to be like a companion drum machine to the TB303. Lots of people have been asking about this boutique, and it's finally here. We also have the brand new TR-6S. It's a battery operated little brother of the TR-8S with the same ACB and FM tone generators, and it also plays back samples. So without further ado, let's break them down and get into it. All right, so let's start off with the TR-06. It's the newest in Roland's boutique series, and what can I say? It's a brand new take off of a classic drum machine with a lot of new features in it, particularly your new effects that are built into the unit. Not only do you have just a regular digital delay and an overdrive, but you could also go in the menu and change the type of effects that you have. So in this case, for the delay, you can have a pan delay, you can have a tape echo, you could have a reverb and just get rid of the delay altogether on it. Or you could even have a sideband filter. And then with the overdrive, you can have up to 4 different types of overdrive type effects, if you will, like a saturator or a bit crusher or just regular distortion. Let's get out of there, and then let's go to delay type and actually change the delay type. I think I want to do the tape echo, because I love tape echo. One also cool thing about this is that you can turn the delay sync on and off as well. I like to have mine on because I just love my delay to hit rhythmically. So you could also change the time as well. Also, what's new in the TR-06 is the quick ability to change the instruments that you hear. So most people might think that looking at this, you're only limited to 5 drums. While that's sort of true, it's like a 5-track drum sequencer. Some of the drums have different drum sounds in them. So if you double press menu and step loop, and let's just start this so you can hear it. With the bass drum, you got about 3 different bass drums to choose from. There's like your typical 808 style with snare. Oh, I like that. And with low time, I could change that to a clap. Let's keep that there, because then on high time you have more claps. And then you also have lots of new sequencer options. You could finally add shuffle to this. That was a real big complaint about the original 606. You couldn't add shuffle to it. Now you can. Not to mention you could also do step probability, and you could change the velocity per step, which is something new. I could change the velocity of the snare by actually holding the step and then turning the accent knob. Or I could just add a little hit right there and turn that velocity down. Kind of like a weak note. So that's cool. And then I could also change the probability of this weak note by holding the step again and then going to value. Maybe I only want 40%. And also jam-packed in here is Roland's step loop, which is kind of like just looping whatever step you want. Kind of a neat little performance feature. What's also new is it's the Roland substep, which is actually not new for Roland, but it's new for the 606, or in this case, the TR-06. And again, substeps are like ratchets. So maybe I can go to this hit and turn it into a substep. Some of the stuff that's pretty relative to the original 606 is the way that you play your patterns, and the way that you can go from one pattern to a different pattern when you're in play mode. But what's new is I could go back into a pattern and I could adjust the last step of an individual pattern by just holding function while I'm in write mode, and the step numbers will come up here. And then I can go to 4 and then the 2. So that's like a cool performance feature. Also too, patterns can go up to 32 steps now, which is something that also wasn't in the original. So that's a cool new thing as well. You can kind of get some more length out of what you're doing. So it's a lot packed in here, not to mention it only runs off 4 AA batteries, just like all the other boutiques. Its connectability is pretty similar to the boutiques, with the important mix in, which I'll show later, which is very crucial in my eyes, connecting this to other stuff and plugging it in and just having all the audio be out of like one output. You also got MIDI in and out. And then you have trigger outs for some of the different sounds here. So like you have a trigger out for the bass drum, the snare drum, the low time, the high time, and the accent. Then you also have a trigger in, which you can use from obviously other Roland boutiques or other Roland units to trigger this. Let's break out the TB303 and show how this thing can connect with that via the trigger outs and get into some real fun stuff. So the TR-6S is the newest in Roland's era line, and it's just like its older brother, the TR-8S, in the regards of its playback engines. You can load your own samples, of course, and it also has the Roland ACB analog modeling sample engine, and it also has FM tone engine. So that's cool. So this thing is jam-packed with a lot of presets. When you get to like the FM sounds and whatnot, there's lots of different parameters for each individual sound where you could do your own sculpting and like sound design on that respective sound, especially if it is an FM sound. So just like with the TR-8S, you have Roland's morph and FM coarse tuning, which sort of takes all of the like algorithmic programming that you got to do with normal FM synthesis, and they just put it in two knobs. And I kind of like that because FM synthesis is really confusing at times. There's lots of presets that you can mold yourself, and you could also go with some of the preset kits and just start to change the parameters within the kits and then just save that respective kit. There is also reloading of patterns and reloading of kits, which is really cool. So that means that basically I can like destruct a whole pattern. Like so, and then just do my little pattern shortcut or reload shortcut here, which is utility and pattern select, and then it'll go back to its like safe spot. That's really cool for jamming, and definitely relative to a lot of other groove boxes that this thing will be competing against. Also, what's new in the TR-6S is what they call variation mode. You're only limited to 16 steps per pattern, but with each pattern, you actually have 8 variations you could use to kind of like keep your pattern feeling more lively and just have like different modes to whatever pattern you're dealing with. And those can be chained together. You could chain these 2 together, or chain 3 together, or chain all 8 together if you want, and it will just play indefinitely. You could do pattern chaining as well. So I could have that pattern go with this pattern and this pattern go with that pattern for an indefinite amount of time until I hit start stop again. So with the combination of pattern chaining and with your variation modes, you could really do a lot of stuff with this as far as arrangement and just keeping it live and doing breakdowns and fills and whatnot. Also, in this thing that's pretty cool is you have lots of different settings. You have pattern settings where you could change your scale of whatever you're dealing with. If you want to go in the odd scale, you could add shuffle to each pattern. You could change your scattering type per pattern. And for those that know about Roland's scatter effects, it's pretty awesome. And they put it in here even though you don't have as much control as you would have with like an MC101 or MC707. But it's here, and it can act like a drum roll depending on what you're doing. Cool. So now I could go to fill-in setting and change where I want my fill-in to be either automatic, or if I wanted to play a variation, or if I just wanted to do scatter whenever I hit a fill-in trick. So I'm gonna have scatter on this one so you can hear it. Per pattern, I could change the depth and I could change the type of scatter that I want. And then I also have kit and instrument settings. So per kit, and one kit would be your 6 drums here, I could change the master level of the kit. I could change the different types of reverbs that I want. And I could set the reverb and delay sends. So it all depends on what you want to do, but there is lots that you could do. Also with the kit settings, you have an LFO. Now you got to choose your LFO wisely. You only have one LFO per kit, but the destination of the LFO can change per instrument. So you got your different waveforms, triangle saw, sample and hold, which is like a random LFO. Let's try that. And then you could have your tempo sync for that. And in this case, the LFO rate moves in steps. So now I have my LFO destination set per instrument. So for snare drum, I got the K. The other thing that's cool about the TR-6S is the ability to do step looping once again. Or just do substeps. Also, with the faders, it's a good thing to get into the habit of actually setting the gain in your instruments. So that way, these faders are kind of like really short throws. And so that way, when I'm playing with the fader, it doesn't come in so high. So also new in the TR-6S is the ability to do a random pattern. So if you're like stuck kind of in a block and don't really know where you want to go, you can go to an empty variation and hit hold pattern select and hit sample. Now hit play, and you got a random pattern. If you don't like it, hit it again. That's actually pretty cool. Now the key thing about this is to remember that your pattern won't save until you hit TR record again, and that's why it's flashing, because it wants you to know that if you hit another button, you're going to lose that random pattern. So right now I got that pattern saved, and now I could just, that's another variation. I could go back to my original variation. So that's cool. Most people that are familiar with Roland, this shouldn't be unfamiliar to you. You have TR style recording where you could actually program the steps. You have instant recording where these are all your samples, and you have instant record and instant play on those as well. So if you're just playing a sample and you don't want to record, but you just want to manually trigger stuff, have it on instant play mode. But if you want to play stuff in, just hit instant record. And that's all there. So the TR-6S can also record motion. If you have motion recording on, when you're in instant record mode, it will track stuff like the tuning and like the delay and the decay and even your master effects. And you know you have motion recorded when you go to the knob and it has a little M on it. So that's pretty much the TR-6S. I could go in a lot more detail about it, but I'd rather just show you guys how it jams. These are two really, really cool new units from Roland. I hope you guys get them and enjoy them. And I hope you guys stay safe and keep creating out there. I'm Fess Grandiose, signing off for Reverb. Peace.